Hello you guys, welcome back to Channel Claire. I hope that you're doing well wherever you are in this crazy world. And speaking of crazy, I wanted to touch in on the turmoil ongoing in the Johnnyverse, online, specifically Twitter, and kind of talk about that just a little bit. I've made a couple videos on this because it has been an ongoing situation that has not seemed to get better, and there's a lot of division within the supporters of Johnny Depp. And it all started with Adam Waldman and Jax. And as we know, about 2 years ago, you guys, like 2 years ago, it's crazy how time flies, Johnny won the case with the help of his legal team with Brown and Rucknick. They did a phenomenal job, in my opinion. There are some people, however, that are of the mind that Brown and Rucknick did not do things that they should have in concerns with Elaine and things that really, at the end of the day, to me, don't matter, because Johnny won and he's living his life. He's moved on, I'm sure, and he's probably not even concerned about any of this stuff that all these accounts are tripping about online. Like, tripping, okay? And I understand that the Johnny Depp trial really opened up, especially for YouTubers like myself in general. Like, I gained many subscribers just based off of covering the Johnny Depp trial. There are a lot of YouTubers that did coverage on the Johnny Depp trial that did phenomenal in the views, okay? And with views comes monetary gain. So I am also thinking that it's continuing online to be an issue because people are so invested, because it was such a big deal and such a poignant, like, experience in people's lives that brought a lot of good for them, or a lot of benefit, okay? And whether it was going out to the courthouse, standing in lines, meeting friends, getting to meet Johnny eventually, like Andy Signor and Laura, even just growing your YouTube channel, getting more subscribers, like all that positivity. And so people are just still attached to it. Like, it's been hard to have people move on from this trial. And it's especially hard when you have accounts that are still bullshitting 2 years later and spreading complete falsehoods. And when you have Vice, who's coming out with a, what do you call it, documentary, an episode, whatever the hell they're doing, with Elaine, of all people. Elaine, with whom I would think she would not want to show her face ever again, giving her piss poor performance that she did with on the stand, not on the stand, but she was in court, just didn't have her mic on, was saying things inappropriately, didn't know what the hell she was doing. It was just embarrassing. It was embarrassing, given the fact that, yes, she was defending Amber Heard and she really didn't have much to work off of. It was still just embarrassing, just the way that she conducted herself within the courtroom. It just, if I were her, I would be somewhere not dealing with any of this, and sure as hell not on Vice, trying to blame social media for your loss. Okay, that's just insane. Social media had nothing to do with you losing this case. It had everything to do with your uncredible client, Amber Heard, which you should have never took the case to begin with, because she was bold-faced lying, and you could not figure out a way to express to the jury and the audience that she was telling any type of truth, because she wasn't. That's just simple black and white. She was fucking lying. So you couldn't do much with that. I understand it. But the way that you conducted yourself within the courtroom was just, it was so whack. And now that you're coming out and blaming social media and everybody who just watched the trial with our own eyes, blaming social media for your loss is completely backwards. But, you know, birds of a feather flock together. Amber doesn't know how to take accountability, so of course her lawyer representing her isn't going to know how to take accountability. Makes sense. But yeah, we're going to take a look at this clip that Vice has released with Elaine blaming everybody but herself. And I see that Adam Waldman, possibly Adam Waldman, has his account back. And it's not verified, though, which is strange. And everybody is waiting for Adam to give this evidence that Brown and Brucknick did not do right by Johnny within this case. Everybody's waiting for it. We've been waiting, I guess over a year and a half at this point. Something is supposed to drop. We got Andy Signor and Colonel Courts all up in the comments trying to get the information. Like, what is going on? What is going on? Because at the end of the day, in my opinion, none of the shit matters. None of it matters. He won. Why are people trying to make this so much more personal about themselves? It's always been about Johnny. And I think the plot has really been lost within the Johnnyverse. And people are just losing it. Okay, you guys, this is Elaine speaking on what probably will be her biggest case of her career and how she lost it. So let's hear what she has to say.
This fan base that just adores him unconditionally, they will blame whoever he might have done something wrong to. It's their fault. They asked for it.
What?
Well, Amber, what did you do to cause him to hit you? You must be the bad person.
I have not
here,
heard.
And that's...
What did you... I have not heard that rationale or even seen that online from any Johnny supporter that I've come in contact with, or any videos that I've watched on the topic, that, oh, Amber, what did you do to make Johnny hit you? That's never been a thing. That's absolutely never been a thing, and we're not looking to blame just anyone that could have done him wrong or he did wrong. We are only looking to blame the person, Amber Heard, who abused him and then turned around and accused him of doing the very thing that she was doing to him. And she needed to be called out on it. And her ducks weren't in a row, neither were yours. She didn't have evidence. She did an interview after losing the case saying that there was a mountain of evidence that still has yet to see the light of day. And that is what took place. She's blaming the fans that love him unconditionally.
He developed this fan base.
And it's not that he developed. He already had a fan base, okay? And then people, because he's an international actor, like literally an international actor, a actual like thespian, studies acting, okay? Unlike who he married, unfortunately. He already had a fan base based off of his countless movies to date up to that point where he showed his talents and his skill. That is why he had a fan base. He did not just develop a fan base during this case.
Just adores him unconditionally. They will blame whoever he might have done something wrong to. It's their fault. They asked for it. Well, Amber, what did you do to cause him to hit you?
She sounds insane.
You must be the bad person.
She
here.
was
And
the bad
that's
person.
The way they thought. About 95% of the social media wasn't just anti-Amber. It was with a purpose to annihilate. And
now, why do you think that was? If you're saying out of your mouth that 90% of social media, okay, was talking about Amber Heard and how her case and your conduct within the trial was just horrible, because we were all on one accord, because we can all see the same thing, because we're all not delusional, thank God. We could see that she was acting. We could see right through it. She could not even squeeze a tear out of her eyeball after talking about like horrific things happening to her, SA, physical abuse, and could not squeeze a tear out. That's because it never actually took place. Something that destructive happening to a human being, you tend to be overcome when you're taken back to that time. And I'm not saying you have to break down, and yes, some people aren't criers, but you see at least some emotion, and Amber showed none. Not any. Like, if you watch that trial back with her on the stand, it was pure acting, and it's so crazy because her acting on the stand, I've seen clips of her little movie that she had, it's the exact same. The exact same. Her style of acting in that movie as she was up on that stand. And I think what was it, her therapist or was it her acting coach or whoever said that she has a problem crying on cue when she's acting. She has an issue doing that, and that is why she could not do that on the stand. 95% of people on social media saw right through her scheme and saw that Johnny was innocent and, in fact, was the victim in the situation. So, yeah, they were anti Amber. I don't think I saw anyone want to annihilate her, but they were calling out her BS and her lies, and everybody was in disbelief that she was actually had the audacity to get up on the stand and tell bold-faced lies to all the jury's faces and everybody in the room and in front of Johnny's face. And everybody was in disbelief that she was doing that.
Amber, it was with a purpose to annihilate Amber. There's no way she could have survived this. There's no way anyone could have survived this.
No, she couldn't survive it because she lied. If Amber was being truthful in her statements and her claims, she would have survived it. But because she was lying, that is why she did not survive it. It's so interesting that people want to forget where issues started. It's like, oh, you were so mean to me, da 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 da. But like, what did you do to me to make me react in that manner? It starts here, not there. That's the effect of the cause of what happened. And Elaine and Amber, even Elaine apparently, we haven't heard from Amber, thank God, but Elaine apparently, still after 2 years, has not apparently sat back and watched the trial over, looked through the evidence again, and realized that she was taken advantage of. Because Amber knowingly knew she was lying and took Elaine's career right down the drain with her own. So all you really have to do is blame Amber because she reached out for your services and yourself. She reached out for your services. You provided them because you thought this was going to be your big win, and it turned out to be anything but. So I don't really know what, I'm not even going to give this Vice documentary or whatever it is the time of day. I'm not going to watch it. Just based off the 38-second clip alone, we know it's going to be some BS. We watched the trial, 6 weeks. We've seen the evidence. It is what it is. And I don't know when we will be able to lay this to rest. Why 2 years later Vice is doing this is just beyond me. And why 2 years later are not all of the, but a lot of accounts who support Johnny Depp fighting against each other on this situation with Brown and Rutnick, Jax, Laura, and all this BS that really at the end of the day has nothing to do with Johnny. It's all about ego. And if Adam Waldman comes out and he has some information that shows that Brown and Rutnick did wrong by Johnny in their representation and being involved with Elon and why Elon wasn't, questioned and this, that, and the other, Brown and Rutnick won regardless of all of that. If Adam Waldman has something to say, I am all ears. Okay, I followed the account that popped up because I'm ready and waiting to hear as well what's going on. But I just don't know what's going to come of it if 2 years have passed and nothing has come of it. What are we going to be in 3 years and it's going to be like, oh, by the way, Brown and Rutnick. Like, no, like, we gotta let it go. We really, really do. So I'm going to leave this here because I'm going to follow Johnny in a sense of what's going on with his career, his projects. If we hear that he's dating somebody else, like that's the type of stuff I will follow. But this online drama that really has nothing to do with him, I think I'm done with that. I really do think I'm done with it because it's just not, I don't see the point. I really don't see the point. And, some of you watching this may, be on the side of, Jax and wanting to hear what Adam Waldman has to say and it's going to change something for you in this case. I don't know. But for me, Johnny won. That's what we wanted. That's why I went up to the courthouse. You know, that's why I did all the videos, because I saw that this woman was bold-faced lying through her teeth. And I was like, absolutely not. Absolutely not. So, and Johnny won. He proved his innocence and then some. So, I will leave you guys with that. And I hope that you have a great rest of your day wherever you are in this crazy, crazy world.